Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, we've got a Mel Gibson horror movie on the horizon. A Mel Gibson horror movie. Yeah. Mighty Mel, Mad Max, Martin Riggs in a horror movie. He's done one before for M. Night Shyamalan or Shyamalan, because we all know the twist in the tale. We can see it coming a mile away. And they're always unusual, but they're never quite as good as the promise or the premise makes out. And yet he did Signs with Mel Gibson way back in 2004, I'm not sure, with Joaquin Phoenix. And I love that movie. It is my favourite of Shyamalan's movies. Not a great roster of great movies, but there you go. But I do love that film, although a lot of stupidity goes in with it. But Mel Gibson is brilliant. Joaquin Phoenix is brilliant. The shocks, the story, the emotion, the tension, the atmosphere is outstanding. So Mel Gibson can do horror. And he's got another one coming out in October this year, 2024. Monster Summer. It wasn't originally called that. It was called Boys of the Summer or Boys of Summer, which doesn't sound anywhere near as good, does it? That sounds kind of like, what's that about? Don't want to see that. But this movie, the trailer dropped in the last 24 hours, and I loves it, I does. But I'm a massive, Mad Mel, the great Gibbo. I love him anyway. And he's making movies. He's making more movies than Ridley Scott's making movies. And Ridley Scott's churning them out day after day after day. But Mad Mel, ostracised by Hollywood for various reasons, as we all know, very well documented. But the guy has been making indie movies left, right and centre, just churning them out. And it's extending his own character, resume, his own experience and his own fantastic oeuvre of characters. And I love him. So, this movie's due out in October. Monster Summer. Yeah. I'm going to put the trailer link below. I'm not going to show you it because I simply can't be arsed doing it with a split screen thing. I just can't be arsed. But I'll talk you through it ish. This is the thing that gets me. It's set in Martha's Vineyard, where they filmed Jaws. How many videos have I done, even just lately, about Jaws and Jaws 2, Martha's Vineyard? And suddenly you've got an entire horror movie set in the real Martha's Vineyard, called Martha's Vineyard, not Amity Island. This is genuinely Martha's Vineyard. So wow. And it looks idyllic. By the way, folks, Martha's Vineyard is beautiful. It's got issues with modern sort of people who've been moved in there, but it's got a lot of celebs and ex-presidents and politicians and real big league, people in the know live there. It's got lovely grassy meadowlands. It's got gorgeous beaches. It's got lighthouses. It's idyllic. Little coastal villages, fishing towns. It's got all sorts. It is an incredible place. And no, I haven't been there, but I want to. I do want to go there. But now we've got this movie, Monster Summer. And it is quite clearly inspired by, yes, the obvious thing, Stranger Things. Watch the trailer, Stranger Things. But also the likes of the Goonies, the Monster Squad, which I'm playing the soundtrack to, Bruce Broughton's exuberant score for the Monster Squad. Wolfman's got nards. Yes, we've got that. playing right now. And any sort of teenage kids banding together to fight a mysterious horror. But it has overtones of Stephen King and Stephen King's, Derry. Derry's been the major fictional town, but the force of all the evil in the world, in the universe of Stephen King, is focused, polarized in Derry. Well, this place and this story, judging by the trailer, seems to evoke a lot of Stephen King as well. And also Monster House. Do you remember that film, animated movie from, I don't know, again, a good 15, maybe 20 years ago? It was 3D as well. Monster House, and it was a bunch of kids who, the house in the neighborhood is clearly evil. They don't want to go there, but it's got a past history, but they do get themselves in there, and the house is alive, and it's a fucking monster. Well, I reviewed that a long time ago on different platforms, and I loved it. I thought it was a great, terrifying movie. And this movie, Monster Summer, has all of that ingredients wrapped into it. Okay, so what have we got? Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if it's set in the 80s, which of course, Stranger Things. And it does evoke all of Stranger Things. You've got a kid with big mad hair, like that kid with big mad hair in Stranger Things. And you've got a town and a bunch of kids who encounter something creepy, weird. There's obviously secrets in the town, and you've got skeletons in the closet, haunted houses, and something out there. Ooh, from another dimension. Who knows? From the sea? Who knows? So it kind of starts off with like a bunch of kids, and it does seem to sell itself as being in the 80s. Sold brilliantly by Tiffany and I Think We're Alone Now, which starts off in a lengthy trailer playing, as you'd hear Tiffany singing I Think We're Alone Now. But as the trailer wears on, it becomes more dislocated, more haunted, more fractured, and it really gets into it. Of course, running up that hill and Kate Bush and a lot of other 80s tracks from Stranger Things. It's evoking that, I know. It also evokes a bit of the X-Files at the same time. Bunch of kids, and a couple of them go skinny dipping-ish. They're a bit young for that, but they go swimming. Something happens, and the lad is dragged down underwater, but he doesn't get killed. He comes out. He somehow survives his near drowning, but he's zombified. He's got a vacant stare. He's got little red sort of eyeshadow under there, and they're playing baseball and all that. But he's, kid, you all right? Looks like something out Night of the Living Dead, and other kids, other things seem to be happening. You've also got the neighborhood psycho. He's a monster. Some say he worked for the CIA. He's a Russian spy. He's killed people. And they break through the picket fences of this guy's house. This guy? Mel Gibson, who comes out with those massive forearms of his and a big sort of, a lumberjack shirt on, and a baseball cap on, and that wonderful grey beard that he has. Not quite the full Taliban torpedo thing which he's had before. It's kind of more shaped, a bit more, a bit more accessible, shall we say. More maintenance free. And he comes out and scares the kids off. Other things happen. Well, the one who almost died, well, he's like a zombie. And other things are happening to other kids. Derry, Pennywise, Stranger Things again, and obviously things are happening. And well, we're gonna go and get this guy because Mel Gibson is a former detective. That's what he is, and you kind of get the idea that maybe he's worked on mysterious cases in the past involving kids and things. Bizarre things. Has he quit the force? Was he sacked? Was he fired? Like Brody in Jaws 2? Was he fired for his bizarre ideas? Well, we don't know in the trailer, but he's certainly shunned by the neighbourhood kids. But they realise, look, we've got to bring him in because this guy knows something. So in the trailer, you will see suddenly there's a bunch of kids there, and like, oh my god, you know, you've brought him. He's a monster. And like, the kid goes like, oh no, I invited him. And Gibson just says like, oh, there's a lot more in than I thought there was. I have to dig a grave now, won't it? And they're all like, ah, ah, ah. It's like, ha ha ha. He's a good guy, folks. Or is he? He's definitely a good guy. And he realises, yeah, these things are happening. And he's got like one of those crime scene boards of like all the pins are stuck there and the strings, pins and strings and murders and mysterious happenings. This has happened before. There's a lot more to this than meets the eye, you know. This is crazy. This is insane. Oh, I'm making up dialogue here, by the way, but you know, it's what it is. Something is happening. The trailer goes on for about 2.5 minutes, and it shows a lot. All intercut, well, all scored with Tiffany's I Think We're Alone Now, which again, as I say before, it becomes a skeletal, haunted, ghostly version. And I love that. I love the way they've done that. I think it works brilliantly. The kids, you see kids in the forest. Kids are running. Something's chasing them. What? Why are you afraid? It's a poor kid by a tree. Why are you afraid? It's been following me. What's been following me? That. And he goes, oh, and oh. You don't see it, but you hear. Well, you just see a bright light and his reaction, and it looks scary. Hey folks, we're in the 80s. This is the Monster Squad, which is awesome. Who doesn't love that? It's a great movie. You've got Dracula, you've got Frankenstein's monster, you've got the Mummy, you've got the Wolfman, and you've got the Gillman as well. But don't forget, Wolfman has got nards in this. Sorry, I was just looking for my my alcohol infusion, and there isn't any. I shall rectify that. Once again, there's no whiskey in the Kilt-Man hizzy, but we still got a lot of this stuff. This Portuguese beer, not Starbuck. Starbuck was Battlestar Galactica, wasn't it? No, it's Superbock. Superbock. Change your. Now, the imagery of Martha's Vineyard is spectacular, and you see the signpost. You're entering Martha's Vineyard, the ferry to Martha's Vineyard, you know, to the island, and it looks idyllic. I didn't recognise a single place from Jaws or Jaws 2. Don't forget, in Jaws 2, most of what you see in the movie is actually shot down in Florida. Only a little smidgen of it is actually in Martha's Vineyard. But Jaws, the first movie, Martha's Vineyard, and the various enclaves and little towns around it. But I didn't recognise anything at all. But it looked great. The kids are on their bikes, so it's very Spielbergian. They're on their bikes, you know. It's E.T., it's Goonies, it's kids on bikes, and in this country, kids on bikes is a disaster because kids on bikes are like North Face ninjas. They're all balaclavaed, hoods are up, and they're pulling wheelies and they're stopping traffic and causing untold chaos. It isn't just the nicey like 80s kids. Just say, hey, we're a nice little gang, we don't cause any trouble. No, these bastards do. So my advice is, if you cruise alongside them, like in Goonies, fucking grab hold of them and ride them into lampposts, walls and bridge walls, and park cars, smash them into it, or run them over. There you go. A little bit of urban politics for you there from Kilt-Man. But no, the film looks great. I've got to be honest, no one else is talking about this. Nobody. Monster Summer, originally called Boys of the Summer or Boys of Summer, and its director is David Henry, written by Cornelius. My daughter wrote this, and her handwriting is so spectacularly neat I can't read it because I'm used to scribble. A spider dipped in ink and let loose across the page. Cornelius Uliano, or is it Viliano, and Brian Schultz. Cinematography by Larry Blanford. So you've got Mel Gibson. I'm like, his name is a question mark. So she's gone through IMDb and whatever, and there's no name for him. But in the trailer, they go like, isn't that Old Man Carruthers' place? And it's Mel Gibson's abode, his ranch, his whatever. Old Man Carruthers. You have Mason Thames playing Noah, Spencer Fitzgerald playing Ronnie Harlow, Patrick Renner playing is that umpire or vampire? I don't know. Another Noah, Noah Cottrell playing Ben, and Lorraine Bracco playing Miss Halverson. Lorraine Bracco. Goodfellas, yeah. Julian Lerner playing Eugene. There's always a Eugene, isn't there? You know, and they're always like the specky-eyed, nerdy geek boy who kind of makes good at the end. And that's all the notes she's made. Oh no. The music is by a fella called Frederick Weidman. It's Frederick with a K at the end and Weidman with a W. It's got to be German, so it's Weidman. And like being a soundtrack aficionado, I don't know who he is. That name, I haven't checked on him, so I don't know. But as I say, the trailer is just pure Tiffany, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because it's superbly haunting, and the way it transforms throughout that trailer, I think it works. Now, we've got many trailers where they show too much, and I'll decry that and call it out every time. I think Gladiator 2, the trailer for that, showed way too much. I did a big video on this, of course, and I've got a lot of mixed opinions on this movie and the trailer itself and its choice of music. Again, it used modern music, but for an ancient movie, it uses, like, what is it, a church in the wild, Jay-Z and Kanye West. Awful, genuinely awful. Whereas this trailer, Tiffany, it works. It's putting you in the era, in the time, in the zone. Because I'm presuming it is set in the 80s, so it's got to be. Why would you use that track otherwise? But the haunting quality of it as it goes through even works its own magic, whether that's in the score, well, the soundtrack or not, which it probably won't be, unless you just hear it in the background, someone's playing on the radio, or it's on a radio station or whatever, you know. But it works, and it got me hooked. Now, I'll be honest, I like Mel Gibson, and you will see in the trailer that he comes on board with these kids. There's a scene in a diner which is a bit strangely cut. You see him, he's sitting, there's a guy that side of him, a guy that side of him, and he's where I am. And the guy this side is a policeman. He's wearing, a policeman's uniform and all that, the big puffer jacket thing, like Sheriff Teasel in First Blood, and or any of the coppers in oh god, Murder She Wrote. Was it Bluffs Cove? What's it called? Whatever. Jessica Fletcher lived, and those jackets they had, and this guy's wearing one of those, and there's a local here, and they're talking, and then suddenly it cuts to something else, and then Gibson back there, and like, you know, there's an argument between these two guys, and like that, and Gibson, his character, stops, he intervenes. But if you look at it, it's not the copper that was sitting there beforehand, unless I've just misread it. But suddenly, the two combatants have changed from who they were in the previous shot in the trailer. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's showing there's agitation in the town, and it's interesting. There's other sequences. There's things. There's light shows going on. There's things in the woods. There's people. There's I think the hairy one who's meant to be our hero, I think, on a bike being chased by a car down some road at night time, and shades of Silver Bullet there as well. Again, Stephen King again. I like what I see. This is a film which clearly evokes horribly Stranger Things. Is that horribly? Everyone's going to go, that's just Stranger Things the movie. I know they are. They're gonna do that. But the presence of Mel Gibson and using Martha's Vineyard as your location and not renaming it, filming it there, and it is set there. No, they're going to make reference to Jaws. They have to. If you're going to play Tiffany's, you know, I think we're alone now. You're going to make reference to a lot of other things as well. And I swear down, I swear to you right now, they are going to reference Jaws somehow. You've got these two kids out who go out swimming at night time, and then one gets dragged out. Well, you know, hiccupy pups there. But it's not a shark, not our shark. So something is out there, but something is not only in the water, it's in the woods, maybe it's in the people themselves. Is it Lovecraftian? Is it a great Cthulhu? Could be. You don't know. Is it just a Stephen King like story of a town which has a past which has been suppressed, but once in a while it comes out, it leaks out into various people who will bring forth that evil. It does seem very Stephen King to me, which, you know, ordinarily I'd be like, oh God, no, because I'm sick of Stephen King. I truly am, and I've discussed all this before. I love many of his early stuff. I revere many of his early stories, but then he just went on and on and on and just wouldn't fucking stop. Reminds me of someone, actually. But it does like an 80s throwback horror movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. The 80s were the era where anything went. The 60s rocked the boat, changed everything, changed every genre by becoming more explicit, more graphic, more hard-bitten and hard-line. From westerns to horrors to thrillers to, even musicals and romance. Everything became a little bit more sort of like, you know, counterculture. Then the 70s came along and everything turned nihilistic. Your good guys weren't good guys. They were all shades of grey and noir. And, you know, and there was never a happy ending. Things happened. Your good guys, your pseudo good guys, broke the law to do the right thing, and then lost at the end of the day. You know, and this was across the board in the 70s. Your zombie movies, nihilistic endings, apocalyptic stuff, science fiction was the end of the world every time. Like, then the 80s came along, and the 80s were like an absolute celebration of everything that's gone before. Zombies, werewolves, vampires, and fucking Lovecraftian stuff. Every Reanimator, and like just so many things were thrown into the mix. You had happy endings, you had nihilistic endings, and you had like totally like, well, like The Thing. Well, who's the Thing? What's going to happen here? Who's the hero? And people didn't like it. But the 80s did everything. It was camp, it was over the top, effects were ripe and raw and rubbery and juicy and sweaty and bloody. And it was great. And that's why a lot of things hark back now to the 80s. That flavour. Music, again, sorry, I'm talking about just movies, but music, everything, the arts, TV shows, everything went ballistic. Suddenly, you could be as anarchic as possible. And it worked. Everyone was happy with it. Well, not everyone, but it got a lot of complaints. But that was half the fun. But music was all over the show. Fashions all over the show. And even though, like, there's a contingent of people who can't stand the 80s. They're like, oh no, that's the decade that we all want to forget. Bollocks! Bollocks! I was born in 1969, lived through the 70s, but lived properly in the 80s and fucking loved it. Mohicans, mullets, highlights, more highlights, crazy fashions, and like the gothic look crossed with punk, crossed with new romantic. Everything went. You could be whatever you wanted to be. And movies were a huge catalyst. They catapulted attitude, style, and abandonment on the big screen. The 90s, well, okay, Britpop was great, but the 90s, movies-wise, was great, but it took a more serious angle. The fun element was kind of lost from the 80s. And that's why you get so many throwbacks to the 80s now. Movies that hark back to it, TV shows that hark back to it. And Stranger Things is one of the major modern progenitors of that. Like it's a flag waving 80s serenade. As much as that epitomizes what I've just been saying, but fuck that. Good shit. But this film does look like it's capturing that. If it turns out that it's set in modern day, well, egg on my face. But why play Tiffany's, I think we're alone now? Why? Why would you do it? And make it predominant throughout the trailer. And they're on these bikes, they've got slightly bigger hair, they're playing baseball. I mean, I'm sure American kids still play baseball even today. I don't know. But I've got a feeling it's set in the 80s, which I think would be brilliant. Maybe it's actually time shifts. Maybe you don't know that. The trailer seems to show a hell of a lot. And yet I didn't get annoyed by this. It shows a lot of sequences, and you're thinking like, well, this is obviously built up, and you get like just before the end, you get a creepy moment, and like they're creeping around, and then something happens, someone disappears. You've got a lot of shock elements in there, but it didn't annoy me. It did not outstay its welcome. Whereas many trailers for that length, I'm like, you just show me the entire movie. I've got a real good feeling, a good vibe about this movie, that it's kept a lot of secrets back. You don't know what's behind it all. There's monsters. Mel Gibson says, there's monsters out there, And, well, he knows. Clearly he's got a past with this, and maybe he got driven up the force because of it. You don't get told this, but he's kind of like living as an outcast. He's the spy, he's Russian, he kills people, and they're breaking his face because he's the crazy monster. Shades of Man Without a Face, which Mel Gibson's directorial debut. Great James Horner score, great film. Yeah, he's a German Shepherd dog as well, and he's disfigured, he's burnt on half his face, and it's a wonderful movie. And he's an outcast, a social outcast who gets redemption. He doesn't need it. He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy at all. But he gets redemption. And again, kids shun him because of, he's disfigured. And there's an element of that in this, which I kind of like. I'm sure that Gibbo's character won't be in it as much as you want him to be, and he will be sort of in the periphery. Oh, he's the scary guy. I'm never going to get this guy involved, and then he's gonna fight the good fight for the kids. But he's got some previous. He's got something. He knows something. It's come back again. He doesn't say that, by the way, but you can get this. You can glean it from the trailer. This is what I saw this before, but you wouldn't listen to me, you know. And like Brody in Jaws 2, you know, and Martha's Vineyard. I'm loving this connection. I'm loving the fact they're doing it in Martha's Vineyard. As idyllic as that place is, there's been a couple of TV shows have been filmed there, but movie-wise, Jaws is the one and only, and that's it. So this appears to be filmed on location. It's got to be, and they're going to put Martha's Vineyard on the cinematic map again, and I'm all for that. I don't think there's no sharks involved in this, unless this shark is a phantom shark that can come out the water and go across the land. And there's a shot of someone leaping through a window as well, and it's shot from underneath, so you're looking up as someone explodes out of the window above you, like that, like running through the window. I don't know who it is. Is it Gibbo? He's done it before, but is it Gibbo? I don't know. Is it one of the kids? But you've got kids in cabins with candles and stuff and creeping around really spooky places in rural areas. Folks, no one else is talking about this, but I'm going to champion this, and hopefully it's not going to let me down. I don't know this director. I don't know any of these people at all, apart from Mel Gibson and Lorraine Bracco. But that's it. I don't know anybody else. But it evokes Stephen King massively. Stranger Things massively. Monster Squad, Goonies. You know, it's got all of these things thrown into the mix. And I love all of those things. So, hey, Happy Bunny here. And Gibbo in a horror movie. Well, fucking paint me all the colours of like ecstatic. Gibson has the intensity of Russell Crowe in his heyday. He has the gruff charm that he's always had. He's got that charisma. He's got that twinkle in his eye. He's got that gruff voice. And he can play any fucking character you want him to play, and play it brilliantly, because now he doesn't care. Why have we gone back into this fucking rockabilly roadhouse shite? No offence. Are you kidding me? Just play the next track. How hard can that be? But his intensity and his inhabitation of a character is second to none. I seriously don't care what you think of him as a person. He went through a very, very bad time. He was set up very badly as well. I discussed this way back. The phone calls and all of that stuff. She knew what she was doing, and she really set him up. And of course, he just couldn't help himself. He went off and went crazy. But, you know, who hasn't gone crazy from time to time? I fucking know I have. I know I have. And other people know I have as well. But I think he's... Can you hear that? I keep going, keep putting my arm on the top of this bottle and boop, boop. He's a wonderful actor, a wonderful director. He's ostracised by Hollywood in general, blacklisted to a degree, but he's he's doing Lethal Weapon 5. I've covered this. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I really don't know about that. But he's making movies, indie movies, all the time. He's a busy, busy beaver. And of course, he was in a film with Jodie Foster called The Beaver. That wasn't great. But he tries everything, playing character roles, just coming on, doing a bit part, lending his name to something which is an underling indie movie, not a big studio production. And it gives him gravitas. It gives the movie itself gravitas. That Christmas movie he made before, what was it? Fucking, what's his name from Stranger Things? I forgot his name. I played Hellboy, Sheriff Hopper in Violent Night, which I've reviewed, and he is outstanding. And it's a great, great anti-Christmas movie. It's Die Hard with tinsel. It is, it's pure ballistic baubles. It is outstanding. I love that movie, and they're doing a sequel to it as well. But Gibson did his own 2 years beforehand. He did The Fat Man, playing Father Christmas as a machine gun wielding mega assassin who does, he is Father, he's Santa Claus, but other people are after him as well, and he's got to fight for his life. It's so ridiculous and yet so great. That's just Die Hard with reindeer. It's brilliant, brilliant stuff. But again, very independent and low budget. And that's what he's thriving in now. Yeah, you want to see him as Mad Max again? Yeah. Of course we do. It ain't gonna happen, folks. It ain't gonna happen. But anyway, back to this movie, Monster Summer. I think it looks great. Even the way that the titles come in, and the way that the entire lengthy trailer is put together, I was drawn in and absorbed by the whole thing. And normally I'm like, oh, that looks shit. It's too long. It's showing too much. Oh, yawn. Oh, that's just Stranger Things. And yet, it seemed to work for me. Check out that trailer. I'm going to put the link below. Watch it. Just let me know what you think. Comment below. Let me know. But I reckon this could be a bit of a nice little sleeper independent hit. One for us. One for, we don't even want everybody else to go and see it. Oh, have you seen Monster Summer? Oh, no, never heard of it. You go, that's great, and then you walk away. It's wonderful. If you haven't seen it, you're nothing to me. Because its tone is, there's an element of, kids jokiness, a bit of Goonies maybe in there, a bit of E.T. in there. But it does turn darker and far more sinister. And if the trailer can flip-flop quite like that, and successfully, the film can do that as well, hopefully. So I think this could be a darker movie than you might suspect. So folks, these bottles go on forever, by the way. It's almost like a bottle of whiskey, only a bottle of whiskey goes down a lot quicker than these things. So, I think we're alone now. But listen how it turns in the trailer. I like that. And as I say, I love the 80s, and that song, it's great. But what else did she do? I've got no idea what else she did. So, if her legacy is to make a Mel Gibson movie soundtrack, then hey, there we go. Folks, I have been always shouting Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and this ever, we're going back to Martha's Vineyard in between time. Please, keep it Kilty, keep it Celtic. Watch out for the neighbourhood spooky guy in the cabin, or the house at the end of the street. Ooh. But you never know, because they could turn out to be the hero. Or maybe Gibson is the one behind it all, and it's all a smokescreen, and he's gonna finally get them all in to his basement and turn into an intergalactic spider like in It from Stephen King. or a clown. Who knows? But check it out. I think it looks great. There's oodles of atmosphere, oodles of the place, the era. Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and no one else is celebrating it. So here I am. Kilt-Man is going, yes. Monster Summer is hopefully all right. Folks, I'm going to see you all. But as I say, this depicts kids on bikes being really, oh, they're just cute, aren't they? Oh yeah, they're all right. They're little crew people together. I'm like, oh, waves to them going by. Here, you want to fucking machine gun the bastards because they are twats. They are twats. I clothesline them. Oh, you gotta do it right though. You gotta do it right. You take someone off a. Oh, I shouldn't be saying this. You take someone off a bike. You know, you could lose your arm. What speed they're going? You have to gauge it, and you need the other arm as well. You can't just go like that. That doesn't work. You're gonna lose your arm. It's gonna swing back. Dislocated shoulder. You could lose your arm. You have to use the other hand as well, and that's where you put that, and you hoist them off, and oh yeah, and then you put the fucking boots on them. Well, there you go. That was a nice little addendum to a movie trailer review. How to kill knobheads on bikes. Hey. Great Cthulhu is going to be in this. There's something bigger beyond. There is. It's interdimensional. It's the Mist as well, maybe. Again, Stephen King. Oh, God. But it's got Mighty Mel Gibson in it as well. Bang! I'm in there.